Wolfpack, are you ready, Wolfpack? Get hype, Wolfpack. Are you ready for a movie night, Wolfpack? Greetings, it is I, Category Jinro, your resident werewolf VTuber, and welcome back to the Moonlight Brew, where we serve coffee as well as adult beverages. But as you can see, we are not currently in the Moonlight Brew. We are actually in the movie theater for our 7th movie night watch along. Tonight, we are going to be watching the 1954 classic Godzilla, aka Gojira. This will be the Japanese version that we watch. It is a classic, started the giant monster, aka Kaiju, universe and style of films. It's very, very popular. It's a great message on anti-nuclear proliferation. The Japanese version is much different from the American version. In the American version, they have Raymond Burr, who is kind of bridging the gap between things, and it's severely edited in terms of the story to kind of avoid a lot of the World War II references that are in the film. So, as I mentioned before, as many times with the movie watch-alongs, I am not allowed to stream the movie. I can only stream my reactions to the movie. So, it is your responsibility to have the movie queued up on your end. This movie is available on HBO Max, so if you have HBO Max subscription, I have HBO on cable, so I automatically get an HBO Max subscription. Simply just queue up into your HBO Max. This is a very fun movie. I am a bit short on time today. My apologies, so I'm going to kind of get into the movie pretty quickly because it's been quite a hectic week at the Moonlight Brew. We've been recording a lot of things. I've been recording actually triple and double time to get a lot of things for our projects done concurrently. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to count down the movie from the count of 10, and then we will all hit play. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play, Wolfies. Okay. Whoa, that was loud on my end. Okay, so HBO movie presentation is what I have on my screen. Okay, so what's next? We have the Criterion Collection. So this is the Criterion Collection version of Godzilla. It's TV PG for violence and Janus films. That's an interesting thing, Wolfies. Very, very interesting there. I've never actually seen that logo. Okay, made with the support of the Japan Coast Guard. Interesting. Okay. Here we go. Toho Wolfies. Toho Ltd. This is Japanese subtitled, so you will have to read the Japanese subtitles. Okay. What's next? There it is. The logo. Gojira! Alright, and here comes the title. Always feel very dramatic when that title is actually on screen. I get very nostalgic. I grew up with Godzilla. I wasn't born in 1954. Keep that in mind. But when I was growing up as a kid, there was a lot of creature features that were on television. One of them ended up being Godzilla. There is the classic theme. Everybody knows about Akira Ifukube's classic Godzilla theme. It's, iconic at this point. Everybody knows about it. Sound effects by Ichiro Iwata. Ishiro Hondo did the special effects, starring, nobody remembers these people, Akira Takarada, Momoko Kochi, Akira Hirato, Takahashi Shimura, Fuyuki Makarami. Their credits are going too quick for me to read all these. Ren Yamato. Bum 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 bum. I mean, how could you not want to sing that song, right? I'm trying to refrain. I don't want to get in trouble here, but it's such a good iconic theme. Ironically, the Japanese credits opening sequence is a lot more impactful than the American version. American version, you have automatically Raymond Burr narrating. I think I just flashed the title of Godzilla King of the Monsters, and that's about it. Directed by Ishiro Honda, one of the great Japanese kaiju directors. Okay, so we have the water. We're in the open water. They did a really good job of restoring the film. The film is in 4:3 ratio. There's no 16:9 because this is such an old film. Oh, look at that. It's a bunch of fishermen wolfies. You know, when you don't have much going on for you and you're like a fisherman just on the open waters, the only way to pass the time really is either through music or by telling stories. After a while, on a ship, you've told every story that possibly can. Uh-oh. What happened? What was that? Look at that. It's a blinding flash of light. Oh, look at that. Now, the effects obviously are going to be a little bit outdated by certain people's standards, but I think summation in this is probably top-notch. Uh-oh. They ran away. Now, something that's interesting that I can actually talk about is that when you see the blinding flash when Godzilla fires off his atomic blast, that's actually supposed to be a direct reference to the flash that's seen when a atomic bomb goes off. Obviously, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, those places were affected by it. So right from the very get-go, they try to put some sentiments and metaphors of World War II and the nuclear bomb going on. So distress frequency. So the headquarters actually got to it, but '07 ship, there's nothing left of it. A complete wreckage. As you see, the film starts dramatically different compared to the English version. So we get this scene here as opposed to everything that was interjected. Ogata is the main character of the film. Ooh, look at that. She's quite a looker, right? Wolfies. Mm-hmm. He sees what's wrong. Yeah, I think he probably got word that the ship got downed right there. Emiko, that's her name. I don't want to give it away. People who've never seen it. He's got to go. Apparently they're more than friends, right? Because he's got his shirt off. So he's got to go to the Coast Guard office. She looks very hurt by that. Budapest String Quartet. I guess she wanted to go to a concert with him, or some sort of musical performance. He's not going to be able to make it. Well, work is work, yeah. At least she's a good girlfriend, I suppose, right? They're apparently in a relationship of some sort. It's kind of funny that his shirt wasn't on. Does that imply that maybe they were doing a little bit more than smooching, perhaps? That would have been very taboo in 1950s for Japan. Okay. So they're trying to locate this missing ship and see exactly what happened to it. What do you think possibly happened to it, Wolfies? I mean, we saw a blinding flash, but we really don't know what took it down. I mean, we all know what took it down, right? Kind of humoring everybody here, right? Okay. Oh, look at him. He's very, very stressed out. Is he the owner of the ship? Let's see. He's trying to figure out what happened. Yeah, they don't know. It was like when there's a volcano erupted, SOS, and sun. Could have been a random explosion, right? Bingo Maru. They call it Yaru Maru, I think, in the English version. So it's funny that they changed the name of him in Japan. Well, not that changed. Well, the English version, they changed the name. Japanese version, this was the way it was supposed to be called. I like the fact that this version of the film is way better translated than most that have come out before. Because I have the classic media version on DVD, and its translation is quite a bit off. Uh-oh. What happened? Another ship just randomly bursting into flames. Now, that would have been, for its time, a toy model floating on the water, and then they just would have used some pyrotechnics there, Wolfies. Yep, it was the same location, so you know something. This is not just a coincidence. A lot of things are just going down there. I wonder what. Well, that must be the family members. They got to be really pissed off at this point, right, Wolfies? Because they don't know what happened to their crew members. They don't know if they're dead. Look at them. They even brought their small children there to question. That's rough. They don't have anything to report. Why not send more ships? It's pretty obvious what would happen. If you send ships, those airships might be destroyed too, right? Yeah. Rest assured, they're devoting their resources to the search. It's the most they could say. You can't risk more ships going out there and just meeting a GG, right, Wolfies? That would be very, very bad and unfortunate for them. Oh, look at these guys. So there were some survivors, it looks like, of the ship. You're going to be able to pull them in, right? Hopefully they'll be able to get some type of information as to what's going on. The sea just exploded. How could the sea explode, right? Look at this poor guy. He's looking worse for a while. 3 survivors were rescued by the fishing boat. Ironically, in the English version of the film, they killed those survivors. They say what happens and then they pass away. So in the Japanese version, they weren't killed. So they did some dramatic licenses there. Still investigating the release. Okay. This poor guy is so stressed out. Look at his face. Well, at least 3 of them survived. But hopefully they'll be able to tell you something, right? Some type of thing. What's going on? Or they have the names of who's dead, so everybody's going to try to flush in to try to see who's alive and who isn't. They're going to have to fight them all back. Who's left? Oh, it's not good. Truly incredible. Why is it incredible? The fishing boat met the same fate. Yamana? They're trying to find the professor, I think, right? You have Professor Yamane. Same location. Yep, they bum rushed the office. How are they not able to keep them out? Do they not have enough force here to actually, you know, certify the door? Why not lock the door? That's what I want to know. Naval mines, undersea volcanoes, so the newspaper is speculating as to what could be. Ship sink mysteriously at sea, no hope of survivors. Look at these people. They're looking onward. Where are they trying to look onward to? I love the music in this film because it's quite eerie what you hear. Like, it's very ominous. Like, everything has a sense of dread to it. Not too many movies can accomplish that, Wolfies. Not too many at all. Look at that. There looks like something might be out in the open. No matter how you slice it, this is serious. It is pretty serious. Things are just mysteriously, spontaneously combusting in the sea. Oh, look, he sees something. What does he see? It's a raft. Can they get out that far into sea to be able to help them? Wow. It's a small little Japanese village, so, you know, obviously 54, if you're not in a rural, not a rural, urban area, you wouldn't have really technology to, like, use loudspeakers or anything. And I think in 54, would there have been loudspeakers? Probably, right? Radio communications was still... I wasn't born, obviously, in 54. I'm still quite young. What are they doing? Burning logs? How are they going to get them out to the water? Are they going to just go in and swim? Well, this kid's really... Oh, yeah, they went out to swim. That's good. Masaji. Who's Masaji? Masaji-san, what happened to him? I guess he's related to him, right? Oh, that poor guy is almost... That guy does not look good at all. What happened to him? Is he okay? It looks definitely worse for her. Oh, that's his brother. He's trying to wake him up. His brother don't look too well. Oh, he came to life, therefore. What got you? Attack the boat. What attacked the boat? Oh, he passed out. I mean, it's a miracle he's even alive, right, Wolfies? Look at all those shipping boats. They're little, tiny round. Well, you know, in Japan back then, there was, I mean, even still today, I think, to a certain extent, a lot of places or villages or fishing villages where they rely on their catch of the day. Oh, that's bad. They didn't get any catch of the day. Look at this dude. Jeez. He's very stoic. He looks kind of like a Japanese version. He might be the village elder. Look at him. Stoic. No, he's very old in his traditions. I like how the subtitles called it Godzilla. Really, it's Gojira in the Japanese version, but they translate it to Godzilla. Oh, look at that helicopter. Do you think that's the research team of some sort? You think that the naval people sent some people to kind of investigate what's going on in this area? Interesting. That's the one thing. The American version of the film gives you a little bit more context on certain things as opposed to the Japanese version. Slow cooks. So he's a reporter. His role gets decreased quite a bit. And instead, in the American version, they replace him with Perry Mason, aka Raymond Burr. Yeah, nobody believes him. Shinkachi. Well, I don't think he's going to get a scoop as to what's really happening here. I mean, not too many people are going to really want to talk to him. Oh, look at that. Ancient Japanese dancing tradition. Are they dressed like Tengus? It looks like they're dressed like Tengus. Tengus are demons of wind, if I remember correctly. A giant, terrifying monster. Who's telling him what Godzilla is? It comes assurance eats people. So is he alluding that this creature has been around before? In the old days, if the catch was poor for a long time, they sacrificed a young girl. That's barbaric. Why would you do that? Send her drifting out into the middle ocean. Wow, that's creepy, man. This dance is all that's left of that tradition? It's an exorcism ritual. I mean, you can't go around doing that stuff, old man. Like, that's just brutal. They're Tengus, yeah. They're dressed like the Tengu. It's kind of interesting contrast there. Well, they're very synchronized. I do really like this type of old style of Japanese culture. You don't really get to see too much of that in Japanese films anymore. Uh-oh. Could it be a tsunami that's picking up? It looks like it. Potentially, that's what could be happening here, Wolfies. Yeah. Either a bad rainstorm or tsunami. It looks closer to a tsunami of some sort. That's not gonna be good. They better take cover. And in a small little village, a tsunami can do a tremendous amount of damage. Oh, they're sleeping. Yeah, so this happened at night. Well, this poor dude's stressed out. He is really freaking out. Uh-oh. What's going on? Something's moving. This is more than just a storm going on, Wolfies. What could it be? He might be smart. Get out of Dodge, little guy. Yeah, you better run for it. Or he's gonna go follow him. Forever. Uh-oh. What happened? What are you seeing? He looks terrified. Why? Yeah, they're really terrified. Oh, no. Is his brother gonna get... Is that it? Is he gonna bite the bullet? 07? Oh, this is not good. Look at that. Back in the old days of special effects, you had to rely on models and shaking the room around with, like, strings and stuff tied together. You know, his brother... Oh, man. He's an orphan now. He just lost his only family, it looks like. What killed him? You really didn't get to see too much. Was there, like, an animal, or was it just a storm that did it? Oh, they're running. Why are they running? It looked like there was a foot that stomped down that way, right? I thought I saw a foot. Did you see a foot, Wolfies? Did you see the foot? It looked like there was a foot. Okay. Let's see here. Well, whatever it was, it seems to have run roughshod on that village. Even the plane got wrecked up. What could have possibly done something like that? And again, stuff like that, those special effects were done with a tiny little scale model set, and then they would, you know, add the water effects and everything else to it. Odo Island Disaster Petition Group. Why'd they send a petition group? Oh, I think we're going to get our first look at the doctor, one of the main characters of the film. Dr. Yamane. Yeah, we are. 17 houses destroyed and 9 people killed. Next entry is livestock. Could you itemize those losses? A nada head for Odo Island. So he's responsible for it. 12 cows and 8 pigs. Oh, they brought some people in to actually interview them. Hard to see in the dark, but it was definitely live. So there was an animal of some sort. Oh, he looks reluctant to say exactly what happened. The more I'm convinced this wasn't caused by a typhoon. The damage to the houses and helicopter what happened. Crushed from above. So they're going to hear testimony from who now? Yep, Professor Yamane. He's a paleontologist, so he studies, obviously, paleontology, as well as other things going on. What is he going to do? Before I've had a chance to inspect it, this is, well, it's fair, right? He doesn't want to jump to foregone conclusions, right? It would sound like ludicrous. He'd probably be a laughing stock. Are you aware footprints thought to belong to snowmen have been discovered in the Himalayas? That mystery is yet to be solved. They've never solved that, actually. Probably humans did it. Furthermore, there are sea cavities deep in the ocean. We can't imagine. Well, they did now discover stuff like that. Like, they're still figuring that the megalodons actually still exist even. I don't know how much truth, like, we can't even reach them. There's a lot of undiscovered undersea life that we've actually, or underwater, undersea, right? Life that they've discovered. So they decided to commence with a research vessel to see that they're... Look at that. Look at all the streamers and fanfare. They make it seem like they're going on a nice little voyage to party and everything. Ooh, look at this guy. Looks very, very stoic. Oh, the girl from earlier, Emika's there, as well as Oda. What is he doing, the main character in the male? I know who that guy is, but I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen this film. Okay. Will their vessel meet the same fate as the ours? You think so, Wolfies? See us off. He rarely leaves his lap. Well, he's got a lot of work to do, perhaps. Perhaps his final farewell. Wow, he's being grim. Does he think the ship's going to go down? He doesn't really paint a very nice picture right now. She looks worried now after that. What's he going to do? They're going to avoid dangerous waters, but anything could happen. Yeah, so he thinks that the ship could possibly go down. That's bad. That's rough, Wolfies. Now she's looking in the water. She's afraid. Why would you tell your girlfriend something like that? You want to reassure her that everything's okay. Okada, you're not doing a very good job of keeping her reassured here. Looks like the vessel made it there safe, though. Okay. Wow, a lot of devastation. Looks really like if an earthquake hit them. Oh, do you see that in the background? Looks like a footstep of some sort of a crater. Look at the devastation. Are they using... They're using a tape measure. What have they possibly discovered? And they're using Geiger counters, so they must feel like there's some type of nuclear radiation involved. Maybe they thought a nuclear bomb had gone off. The Geiger counter's kind of gone off quite a bit there. Don't use this well for now, it's dangerous. Where are they going to get their water from then? It's a small, tiny little village. So what's happening? If there was a radioactive fallout, the wells on the other side of the island would be affected too? It's true. So why are we only picking up radiation here? So it's an isolated radiation spike. They're so perplexed. I guess it's something they're not used to seeing. Well, back then, the only form of radiation anyone would have ever seen was, unfortunately, an atomic bomb. What is he looking for? He looks astonished. This is a footprint that they're standing in? Huh. It looks like the reporter's now teaming up with the professor. That's truly, truly interesting. What else have they found? It does look like a footstep, because look at how big the crater is, Wolfies. It's quite big crater there. Uh-oh. They're picking something else up from the rubble. What could it be? Looks like they found something. Sorry, I had to send out an email. Okay. Back to the movie. So they found something. It looks like radiation. Oh, what's the professor out there? Oh, isn't that like a trilobite? Those are from the Jurassic period. Why is he touching it with his bare hand? Could have like radiation on it. Dude. Yeah, I see somebody knows what's up. You shouldn't be touching that with your bare hand. Putting that in the box is not really going to help, too. Amazing discovery, that's for sure. Those things were thought to be extinct. Stop picking stuff up with your hands. That's all radiation. Uh-oh. They're sounding an alarm. What could happen here, Wolfies? What potentially could be afoot, perhaps? Cheesy joke, but... Oh, they're running for the hills. Godzilla on their side. Oh, Godzilla's coming? We're finally going to get our first glimpse of the monster? If you've never seen what Godzilla looks like, I mean, most people know because he's a Japanese icon, as well as kind of an icon in American culture as well. Kaiju fans, like everybody knows what Godzilla looks like. But in case you don't know, and this is your first time watching this and knowing about Godzilla, you're in for a real treat here. Remember, the movie is from 54, so by 54 standards, these special effects would have been considered revolutionary. He saw something. He saw. What did he see? He saw a monster. He saw... Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's coming to greet him. Look at that, Wolfies. That's the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla, aka Gojira. Nice, nice, nice. Ooh. He's not happy. He's not happy with them. Clearly, he's not happy. He's about to run roughshod on that town again. Uh-oh, Emiko fell. You better run, Emiko. Now you're about to become somebody's dinner. All right. Okada for the win. Are they not wearing shoes? That's probably why... Wait, why would you not wear shoes right now? Everybody else is wearing sandals. We managed to save her. Where did Godzilla go, though, Wolfus? Mm-hmm. They managed to evade Godzilla pretty good. I guess Godzilla doesn't have a taste for human flesh, perhaps. She ran to her father. Huh. She's lucky. She got off that one easily. Oh, she is wearing sandals or sneakers, it looks like. They are. Oh, sneakers and boots. So she did have shoes on. I stand corrected. They gotta go after this monster that is clearly 20 times bigger than them. What is it? What do you do? Of course they're footprints. If you just saw a monster, wouldn't you? Oh, crap. You know, the one thing I don't like about that scene is that the footprints that Godzilla makes in it don't really look to scale that large. It's not the best scene filmed in the movie. Again, 54 special effects weren't up to there, but they should have made them a little bit more to scale and a little bit more large. Okay, so he's giving a dinosaur study right now, Wolfius. Jurassic period, where the T-Rex and Stegosaurus, Brontosaurus existed. The Cretaceous period. Intermediate organisms were evolving. So, does he think that this is from that period of time as opposed to the Jurassic period? I guess he's assuming so. They have the photo of Godzilla. Now everybody's going to know. What is he going to propose for the time being? That we call this creature Godzilla. So he went with the urban lore and legend. And that is how Godzilla got his name. We encountered him on Odo Island. Over its head. 165 feet tall. Approximately. That's crazy, right? If you see something that large, you would be in disbelief. I would be. So they're trying to figure out where it would have come from. So it was hidden away in a deep cave. And it survived all that time feeding on stuff. So, see, this is how they tie it in. Because of the nuclear bombs, the atomic bombs, it destroyed its natural habitat, unleashing it upon the world. Yeah, so I always liked that connection in the Japanese lore that it already existed and that an atomic bomb woke it up, as opposed to in the American lore, they just kind of said that it was created via the atomic bomb. Then later on in our Godzilla films, they kind of recon it that the nuclear bomb affected a dinosaur and that was hidden away and stuff. The lore changes a bit for Godzilla, but I always liked this original one where it was just a prehistoric creature that was unearthed via the nuclear bomb testings. Alright. So it's a trilobite. That's how you can prove that Godzilla is as old as he specifies. Alright. This sand is from the Jurassic era. He was able to identify that as well. He knows quite a lot. I mean, how would you even know that it was from there? How can you know the H-bombs are to blame? Because of the Geiger counters, it makes a lot of sense. Well, what else emits radiation back in 1954? The atomic bombs, right? This movie is all about anti-nuclear proliferation, and particularly the Japanese version. A lot of the anti-nuclear proliferation and World War II sentiments, anti-World War II, atomic bomb use sentiments, gets cut out of the American version. So I like that the Japanese version, now we can really truly see it, because it was so hard to track down the Japanese version for a long time. For a long time, all we had was the American version, which is dramatically different. A lot of stuff cut, a lot of tones, a lot of themes cut from it. He's very, very serious. So he's concluding. What is he going to conclude? They got better microphones than I have for my setup for stream. I got to up my streamer game here. Look at that. They got some super expensive microphones here. Everybody's like trying to find this hard to believe, but it's so true. Like, if your government told you that a prehistoric creature that was resurrected via the H-bomb came to the waters and was destroying things, would you believe them? And it's a tough, big pill to swallow. I would have a hard time. They want to make this public. Yeah, now they're going to argue back and forth whether they should make this news public or not. It should be public, though, because Although you don't want to have a outcry with the public worrying and running around. They're fighting. That must be like the regular people. That's my point. Make this public. And our fragile diplomatic relations will be forever strained. I mean, the truth is the truth. The people do need to know the truth here. You really can't keep this under lock and key. It wouldn't be fair. I mean, the public will panic. That's what I was thinking too, because they're gonna... The political life, economy, foreign relations will be plunged into chaos. Yeah, but you can't lie about things, because what happens if you don't tell the truth? You're not able to handle Godzilla, and then Godzilla comes to shore. Then it's like, hey, the government lied to me. We're not going to have any faith in the government. And then B, on top of that, you just it's going to be a mixed bag. What did they end up doing? Disaster Response Center established, but they didn't say what happened. Heavy losses at sea, 17 ships sunk to date. They decided to keep it quiet. Atomic tuna, radioactive fallout. Oh, they did say that Godzilla was to blame here. What if it shows up took him? So they decided not to keep it quiet from the public. I think that was their commendable thing to do. Because if not, you lie to your people, and then rough things happen. Notice she said that she barely escaped Nagasaki. Tell you, that part wasn't even in the American version. You know. This has very obviously was made right after World War II. That ended. Deep sea fishing. What's going to happen, Wolfies? What do you think could happen? Oh, I forgot to mention, this movie is not super long. So we're about an hour and 7 minutes in right now. It's a shorter one. Because movies in the 50s weren't like super long. Surprise, hour and 44 minutes is actually a really long time for a black and white film back in the 50s still. Most of them were like hour and 20, hour 15 minutes at that time. Squadron will attack Godzilla in that range. So they're going to do some bombing runs with depth charges. I don't know if that's going to work. I mean, good luck to them. You think it's going to work, Wolfies? I mean, that's the best weaponry they would have had in the 50s, right? Outside of using a nuclear bomb itself. I really like this theme that plays in this movie, this particular part. It gives a very, very Navy theme. I wish they would play it more in the other Godzilla movies that came afterwards, but it's rare that you'll hear it when they're finding the depth charges. Let's see if they get it. They have to actually hit something too, though. How are they going to be able to track it with sonar, I'm assuming? Okay. Looks like some of those charges have gone on pretty well. Bum, 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 bum. Seems pretty good right now. Do you think they got him? Do you think they got the King of the Monsters? Perhaps. Perhaps. Interesting. Alright. So the bombing run happened, but did anything actually happen? Squadron has begun its depth charge attack. 10 vessels, fleets, left port at 10 a.m. So they used 10 vessels to do depth charges. You would figure that would kill it by then, right? Oh, his professor doesn't look too happy right now. Maybe somebody should go talk to him? Like you, Emika, right? Yeah. Hey, look, it's the kid before where his brother died. Something like... Yeah, it is something. He's a zoologist? He wasn't a zoologist, wasn't he a paleontologist before? He really changes quite a bit in terms of titles. So did they adopt the orphan whose brother died because of Godzilla? That's kind of cool and admirable. Put the lights on. He's sulking in the dark. He's very upset. Yeah, he's beside himself. He doesn't want to talk to any people. He's just grieving. Turn off the light. He just wants to be in the dark. In the English version, he says that Godzilla should have been studied and not killed. So they added stuff to it, too. Here, they just kind of make it subtle that that's... His sentiment is that he didn't want Godzilla to die. And look at this. Nice, fancy Japan post-World War II at this point, trying to rebuild their cities. Very hustling and bustling. Oh, look, that's the ship from earlier that I think Emiko wanted to go on. Remember she showed him the pamphlet? I wonder if they got to go on this cruise ship. Was that really a cruise ship? It's more like a little cruise musical thing. Let's see. Nice croony 50s music. Hey, if dancing were still like in the 1950s and that's the way you would dance with your partners, I would be the best dancer on the planet right now, Wolfies. Oh, look, it's the girl from earlier on the train. She escaped everything, and now look, Godzilla's in the waters. Yeah, it is Godzilla. Who else were you expecting? Were you expecting the Loch Ness Monster? That's a terrible joke. Oh. First glimpse of Godzilla. That is a man in the suit raising from the water. For those of you who are not familiar with Godzilla, Godzilla was created via two different ways in this film. Man in a rubber suit, which is known as suitmation technology. They don't really use it in anything Godzilla related anymore, because now he's more CGI than anything. And he was also used a puppet for certain effects, like the one on the mountain, and one that you'll see later on in the film Wolfies. In newer films, Godzilla's mostly CGI. I think they used CGI and suitmation in Shin Godzilla. Very little suitmation. I don't know. I think Godzilla -1 is completely CGI. So it's a lost thing. Suitmation's only really used now in Ultraman TV series, Super Sentai TV series like Power Rangers. Everything else doesn't use it anymore. Suitmation back then, this was like revolutionary technology because nobody had done it before Toho. Then other people copied it, obviously. The people who did Ultraman, they spinned off from Toho. Godzilla was baptized in fire, H-bomb and Sarag. What could kill it now? Yeah, well, they thought that they killed it. They obviously weren't going to kill it with depth charges. That was just foolish. Priority would be to study it. Maybe study it to find a way of weakness, perhaps. Newspapers, where are they going to print? There's the newspaper guy again, hot off the press. What does it say? What does it say? What does it say? They're near a train station? Why would you have your newspaper near a train station? Professor Yame makes many points. Quake and Fear, we should be studying Godzilla. Yeah, but how are you supposed to study a giant kaiju like that? How are you even going to be able to subdue it? What type of tranquilizers could you use? And if anybody learned anything from King Kong in the 1930s, when you do stuff to try to take a monster in, always backfires. Girl's fiance. Wait, did you see that? They said Dr. Serizawa is the fiance of her, but she's in a relationship clearly with him. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I think about Serizawa, I lose my nerve. Ah, see? He wants her to break away from her arranged marriage, apparently. Not for the war, he would have lost his eye. So he served in the war. What's she going to do, Trevor? I thought of him as an older brother ever since his child. So she doesn't even want to marry him. She don't have feelings for him like that. She's trying to reassure her boyfriend here. Do you think it's going to work, Wolfies? Do you think it's going to work? I mean, this is going to go poorly, I would say. I don't know. Do you think they'll be able to do it? Let's see. What's going to happen? He wants to get an interview with Dr. Serizawa. I don't know if that's going to fly well with him. He's a very stubborn man to get some sort of interview with him, right? Okay. He's going to try to explain the situation to Serizawa. If he heard it from... He wanted to go to kind of say, like, this is my woman now. He wants to break the news to him. You go ahead. Yeah, I mean, it would probably be better had they gone together. Car's waiting. I don't know if he'll talk to him. You know, I don't blame him. A lot of times people don't want to talk to reporters. She's going to try to break it to him gently. With your father at your place. Oh, he adopted him? Ah, he's trying to be a true husbando there. That didn't make sense in the English version. They never really said who had adopted him. That's kind of cool. All right. Oh, look at him. Yeah. So he adopted him. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool of him. That's very respectable of Okada. You know, it's funny because he shares the name of the Japanese wrestler, Okada. You know, Kazuchi Okada, I believe was his name. Some mistake. His research isn't about that. So he thought there was a research of some sort. Correspondent in Switzerland heard from a German scientist. You're working on is finished? What plan is he talking about? Something that could defeat Godzilla? He doesn't know any German scientists. He's denying quite a bit here. He looks skeptical, right? What exactly are you working on? Isn't worth discussing. He's holding out a lot of information, so it's not going to be able to get anything from him. Yeah, he doesn't even want to look at him. If he doesn't want to make eye contact, clearly he's hiding something, right? Wolfie's usually people who make contact with you would not have that happening. He looks stoic. He's clearly hiding something from them, Wolfies. What is he hiding? He looks even distraught about whatever it is. What could it be? At least find out something he's working on. You're not going to get any answer. Give me 1 second, Wolfies. I have to lean over. Apologies. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let me get back into position because I did kind of shift a little bit there. Reset my camera. He's really distraught. What could he possibly be sad about with this? He's playing some nice classical music though. What do you think? What do you think he's hiding? Do you think he really has a weapon? Oh, she's gonna try to get it out of him. He's been wondering what Serza's up to these days. Well, he's really a shut-in, but why is he a shut-in? A great mind is hard to truly understand, Wolfies, so he wants to show her something, what is it? But you mustn't tell so. He's been keeping something. He's risking his life for that project? He's very serious. He looks very scared. You notice how something going on. I like the lighting too. They did a good job of getting how a house would be lit. It looks like it's afternoon time. You know he's a true scientist because he's got a sub-basement level for his lab. He even has it locked and keyed. What's going on? Look at all that equipment he has. Our doctor friend here is quite busy indeed. Yeah, I'd be impressed too. He has some poison there, it looks like. Very impressive. And then he's got all that air equipment there. And an airfish tank and some beacons. How do you think this is going to go with this? What do you think is going to happen? She looks out of sorts. I don't blame her. You're probably wondering what all this is. He's got a pretty intense laboratory. Oh, he doesn't only have koi fish. He has some of the larger ones. Are those chinchillids? I think they're chinchillids. Those are like the man-eating fish, I think, that they eat like meat. Or maybe it's not chinchillids, because I don't think you can couch chinchillids with each other. They're like very aggressive fish last I checked. What type of fish are those? One of those looks kind of like a clownfish. Or a zebrafish. They're ocean fish, right? The saltwater? What is he dropping in there? Uh-oh. He's turning something on. Whoa. What's going on? Get back. He doesn't want her even near it. What is he? What happened? Well, she's horrified. Whatever she saw, she didn't like. Are we going to get to see it? No, we don't get to see it. I guess we'll have to wait for that reveal later on in the movie, Wolfies. What could it be? She's completely devastated at this point. What could it be? What could it be? She made a promise. Hopefully she can keep it, right? I hope she can keep it, right? second terrible face. Are you enjoying this movie? It takes a while for Godzilla to come on screen, but that's because they're showing a lot of, they're building up to the story, because when he makes it on screen, he has the most screen time out of every person in this film. She finally got home and she looks defeated. And she can't talk about it now, too, so. Look how traumatized she is. Okada knows something is up, but he doesn't want to press the issue. Like when your girlfriend says she don't want to talk about it and you decide to try to push it, you're going to sleep on the couch and you're not going to get a kiss goodnight. It's just facts. It's just how it is, Wolfies. Where's the doctor? The doctor doesn't seem in either. Everybody in this house is mourning. Oh, she's just there. She going to prepare dinner or something? Oh, he's studying. What is he studying? A magazine? Professor Yamane coming in here too. Huh. Is Emiko back? Yep. He's like, what the hell are you two still doing here? Do they always have, like, dinner together? I wonder if Dr. Yamane knows that Emiko and Okada are in a relationship. Because, like, when this dude's spending a lot of time in your home as well, wouldn't you kind of get suspicious? Like, but you were arranged to Sorizada. Looks like Godzilla's coming. Finally, we get to see some actual kaiju stomp in action with these. Stomp. She couldn't tell him. Obviously, with all the drama that's going on. He just pat her on the shoulder like, I'll take care of that, missy. See? Huh. Uh-oh. Here's the title character finally coming to the ocean. Oh, military's waiting this time. Like, we got you, fam. I don't know if that's going to actually help. We'll see. Those are tiny little bullets trying to penetrate a very large monster's skin. Do you really think that's a good idea? You need some more heavy artillery, in my personal opinion. Shooting going on. A lot of shooting going on. So, what's going to happen here? It's a little stomping through. Looks like they're bringing in more heavy artillery. Clearly, the first line of defense wasn't good. Japan would have been totally devastated by this point, too, though, so military really wouldn't have had that many weapons they could use. Remember, after World War II, Japan was banned from using nuclear weapons whatsoever, to my knowledge, if I remember history correctly. There's not much they could do to actually fight it off, to my recollection. This is Professor Yamane. What are you hoping to accomplish? I can't let you pass. Guarantee your safety. Tercio not to shine lights on Godzilla. Why? Oh, it's going to make him more angry? Why? Oh, maybe because it'll trigger the flashing lights from when the nuclear bomb went off that unleashed him from where he was. All right, finally, some kaiju stomp in action. And the classic Godzilla theme to go with it, too. This particular scene right here is one of my first memories of watching Godzilla. Like I said, when I grew up, creature features were still a big thing on television, which is kind of funny because in my time period, was the very end of the creature features, like truly the end. So I don't know if anybody knows, they had a revival of the Munsters, and the guy who played Grandpa on the revival of the Munsters, we're talking early 90s, late 80s, they had Grandpa Monster, and he had a afternoon creature feature show. One of the first shows that I watched had Godzilla on it. And I tuned in right when Godzilla was stomping down, walking through right here in this scene. So when Godzilla first appears and he's right by the electrical tower, that's my first memory of Godzilla's tuning on. It was like Channel 5 here where I live, and it's kind of cool. That was my first memory of that. Then on TV, they also showed like a lot of Godzilla 85, but we're talking this was late 80s going into early 90s. So those are like my recollections. They don't show stuff like that on TV anymore. It's a way different era. I mean, heck, I'm watching Godzilla, this movie, on HBO Max, so streaming platform of all things. Look at this. People are trembling in fear. I mean, what could you really do to contest the might and brute fury of Godzilla here? And pick this bridge up with ease. So how did they do the Godzilla effects in this? Simple. Guy in suit, everything was model sets scaled down to make it look like it was, Godzilla tearing through a city. In reality, there were small models that Godzilla did. They would just kind of rip through things. Kind of cool. They used this a lot, the special effects, all the way up until Shin Godzilla, I'd say. And Godzilla Minus One completely changes the game. I haven't seen Godzilla Minus One. I didn't get to see it in the movie theaters, unfortunately. Waiting for it to be released digitally so I can watch it. Hopefully it comes to HBO Max would be the best thing. If not, I'll probably buy the Blu-ray because I do collect Godzilla movies. I do like physical media still. I just kind of grew up with physical media. VHS, Blu-rays, cassettes, DVDs, stuff like that. So I didn't have Laserdisc or Betamax. That was way before my time. But Laserdisc, I was around for Laserdisc. Betamax was before my time. So they're going to try to come up with some type of plan to work Godzilla here. Where do you think it's going to be, Wolfies? But also everyone living with 6,000 feet inside of the barrier. Defense forces and Coast Guard will carry out. What do you think's going to happen here? Respective duties outlined in the security plan without delay. Interesting. So they're going to basically put a whole bunch of electrical towers on to shock Godzilla to death. I don't know that's going to work, but, it's worth a shot, right? They're going to evacuate the city, at least. They got to, because, we're basically using the city and its electrical towers as bait to bait the monster. And I don't know that's going to work for them. Hope for the best, expect the worst, potentially, here. What could be? An announcement from Security Command. So they already kind of can predict when Godzilla is going to actually hit landfall here. Kind of like a hurricane or a tornado. Maximum security alert has been issued for coastal areas between Tokyo. Okay, good. See, this time around they had the right idea. They're coming in with tanks. They're coming in with, forgot what type of guns you call them. I guess they're heavy artillery weapons. That one just looked like a forklift to me. Cranes? Why would they need cranes? What could you possibly do with a crane against Godzilla? Maybe bury him? Bury a trench of some sort? See if this is going to work for them. Military force doesn't have a lot. Again, after World War II, would they really have had that many forces to begin with? Because Japan, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't really allowed to, super weaponize their military forces after World War II because of obviously, the agreement that was put in place after the war. What could be possibly happening here? Those poor guys, if you have an AK-47 in your hand, or an assault rifle, and they're telling you you're going to guard the fort and hold it down if Godzilla shows up ahead of time, you're like, wait, what? What am I going to do? I don't want to be Operation Human Shield. I wouldn't want to be Operation Human Shield in this particular case either, Wolfies. Love that theme. Love that theme. Gives me chills every time I hear it. All right, so it looks like they got their secret kind of weapon all ready to meet Godzilla. You think it's going to work, Wolfies? Sector 3? Okay, they're putting extra voltage into these places, I guess, and testing it. Special news report? What are they going to have to do? So the residents of those prefectures have been ordered to evacuate. They're going to watch on from afar? They're kind of close to the action. They should be careful. Emiko and Okada, what are they doing? They're having a little moonlight sip. He's going to ask for the father's consent instead? Wow. So they're just going to completely bypass Sarah's. You notice that editing error? Where she got up of her seat 2 times. It's very small but minute, but they made a editing mistake in the film. It was very, very minute. You didn't see too much of it, but Sarazawa. Father, what's wrong? He just realized he didn't save enough on his car insurance by not switching to Geico, perhaps. I kind of messed that joke up. I can't have them all out apart. You know how long I've been recording today, Wolfies? I've been recording for hours on end, Wolfies. What's he doing? all they can think of is killing Godzilla. He was still adamant about wanting them to study it. Why don't they try to study the resistance to radiation? It's a good point, because they'd probably be able to figure out what radiation they can deal with. Like, it's a good idea. Oh no, Okada, don't disagree with the doctor. Uh-oh, they're gonna have a dispute. No scientist in the world has ever seen anything like that. It's important, yeah. I know it's like a scientific find, yes, but to let such a giant monster run loose is kind of true. But you can't capture this monster either. Okada used the comparison to the atomic bomb. See, they're gonna have a big disagreement there. She want to kill he feels betrayed. He threw him out of the house. He's like, get out. Wow. Well, if he wanted to ask him for consent, this is not the day to do it. He should have picked a better time to ask for consent, right? Wasn't very tactful. He's very adamant about that stuff. Well, I mean, can you blame a scientist? A scientist wants to do a scientist's job, but you can't risk that much life, Wolfies. He's gonna find the right moment to talk to him about us. I mean, the doctor's got to know they're an item. He spends all the time in the house with her, right? Like, you'd have to be the dumbest man on the planet, and Dr. Yamane doesn't strike me as that. Secure barriers charged with high voltage electricity. Notice how Okada didn't leave the house when he was instructed to. Does he really want to piss off his potential father-in-law to be? Godzilla's coming back. Is Godzilla going to take the bait here? Looks like it, Wolfies. Looks like it. What could possibly happen here, Wolfies? What could possibly happen? You think this is going to be a dramatic success, Wolfies? What could be? What could be? Let's go. What's going to happen? Okay, tanks are moving in. That's good, that's good, that's good. Very good, very good. They got to act fast. Because you know what? Godzilla is waiting for them. What could it be? Well, up from the depths, 30,000 feet below. I don't remember the name of the song. Yeah, there's like a bad Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Again, I was not from that era. I only know of this because of Cartoon Network when they showed the Godzilla cartoon. When they did. Well, Godzilla's coming in. It's rolling up. You think this is going to work? These electrical towers? I mean, this guy survived radiation. Surely a couple of thousand voltages going through his system is not really going to do too much to him, I would think, right? All right, their plan is commencing. Oh no, look. He just went through that like nothing. He just took that hit like it was nothing. Those little bullets aren't going to do too much. Hopefully the cannons will. Look at that. Godzilla's like, yeah, I'm not impressed by this technology. I'm just going to tear it down like if it's, floss. That seems so cool. Just because of the lighting effects. There's something about black and white movies and the way they did their lighting that's just something you can't really put your finger on. Just the way that it does nicely. The only problem is thanks to, 4K resolutions as well as 1080 HD. In certain scenes, in this particular scene for this movie, you can see the strings holding up Godzilla's tail. That part there was done with a puppet. So the facial thing was puppet. That's all puppet scenes there. So they switched between man in suit and puppet effects. Now it's man in suit again, as you can see. Godzilla's suit in 54 is actually pretty impressive. Like, just because in black and white, the suit definitely has more weight to it. I wanted to see Godzilla -1 in black and white, but unfortunately they didn't have any movie theaters playing near me. That's the first time we see the atomic breath, as you can see. So it's like a fire beam, I guess is the best way to put it. In reality, he's shooting out radiation and just destroying things that way. This shot is pretty amazing that they're able to get the camera over the shoulder and you just see Godzilla walking into the scene because the models are just placed in the right position. It's a really cool over-shoulder effect. Great cinematography from there, Wolfies. This particular scene, too, with the fire in the background, him just laying waste. Like, this is some scenes that you've never seen in a movie in this time period before. Oh, God, those people got it. well, '07. I remember they cut that scene out of the American version because it was just too much to have people dying to the flame like that. They wanted to kind of make it a little bit less graphic, which it's not a very graphic scene, but for the time, 54. I forgot, Godzilla came in King of the Monsters, I think it was 56 when it came out in American theaters. Look at that, just laying waste to everything. Unmatched, truly unmatched. Fire department's going to try to come save. Imagine you're the fire department and you have to come to the scene to put out a fire, and there's a giant monster stomping around the city. Like, do you get paid enough? Does your union protect you enough to be able to do that? Like, you'd probably look and be like, union, that's not good. All right, flame effects again. That's another really amazing shot. Were they able to get the puppet over the little area and then have the camera underneath it so you give Godzilla a sense of being extremely large and in charge? That's toy model effect. Like, there's so many different things going so well in the scene. The way they were able to merge the special effects of him stomping on the model set, having toy things kind of fall apart, and then switching back to really cool, you know, green screen type of effect. It wasn't really so much green screen, because what you used to do for 50s movie, when you wanted an effect like this, you would basically put the two film reels together, so you'd have one over the other, and you kind of splice it together. Nowadays, we have green screen for these type of effects. Back in 54, you took the film strips and merged them together, where you had one place behind the other to kind of give off the same illusion for that type of effect. Then for this effect, obviously, it's on set. You just have the man in suit stomping around the model set with other things going on. And then you use pyrotechnics to fire off those things. That's the puppet again. And then you go back to the man in suit. Because you want the puppet for the roars, because the man in suit can't open and close the mouth. Just didn't have the technology for that. You wouldn't see Godzilla actually open and close his mouth actually in the man in suit. So they kind of did some animatronic effects with Godzilla. Well, it's called The Return of Godzilla, Japanese film. That's the puppet effect again. See how they're just able to merge it? There's just nice cuts between the two. So, you know, for the time period, the special effects would have been truly, truly out of this world. But yeah, like I was saying, Godzilla, Return of Godzilla, which is Godzilla, Gojira 84. For us, well, in the East Coast, it was Godzilla 85. But you can't find Godzilla 85 to watch on streaming services because there's a rights issue with it, because 4 different studios own it, because it was No World Pictures had it released. So it's very difficult to find that. I don't think HBO Max has Godzilla 85. I don't even think it has Return of Godzilla. I'll have to check after this movie's over to see. Because that's another really good Godzilla movie that kind of impacted me a lot as I was growing up as a child. Intentional rated cars. Yeah, Godzilla just completely devastated the city. There's not much they can really do here, right, Wolfies? Imagine, again, you're hearing this on there. Focus all efforts to firefighters because you can't beat Godzilla. Like, they're just looking as a military, you're like completely defeated. Your number one job, for them. Godzilla's like, hi, buddy. Take cover. I don't know if you have time to do that, man. '07 car. Look at Godzilla, Flame City. That's an effect in the back there as a puppet again. That's not the man in suit doing that. I think it would be better with the puppet effect there for that particular shot. Here, you just kind of show after you shot the flame, because it's kind of would have been too hard to simulate that thing going on fire with the beam. And they used a lot of those shots already for her scenes. That's literally just somebody pushing over that model thing. I always love these shots in particular where you have Godzilla stomping onto the scene. Just so many things work so well here. A lot of foreshadowing too. This scene always breaks me up. In the English version, it's centered. In the Japanese version, you're gonna get the full thing where she's gonna say, we're gonna be with our dad again. Tail swipe. When you wonder what I say tail swipe in video games, I directly saying it because of Godzilla, because I've always have Godzilla tail swipe effect in my mind. So now you know why I say tail swipe a lot. That's the puppet again. Puppet going over the model set, knocking down flames. Amazing, amazing shot, Wolfies. I can't gush so much about that there, Wolfies. Here's the scene I'm talking about. This was edited in English. This is the full unedited here. She says that they're going to join Daddy. They'll be with Daddy soon, which means they're about to die, and they're accepting a fate. You know what's the subtle thing there? Their dad died from the atomic bomb. So he's a victim of the atomic bomb, so they're going to join their father's fate. It's just a really chilling, dark symbolism there that the American version completely cut out. They're like, don't worry, children, don't worry. And then they cut away. Look at this. The puppet effect, too, it just kind of works, because you can't really have the man in suit, again, opening his mouth. Puppet effect here, not as believable or holds up as well, that particular shot. Now we switch to the man in suit again, just to knock it down. So it's kind of cool how they kind of meld the effects there. Very, very cool. This particular part was swapped out for Perry Mason looking on at the destruction, aka Raymond Bird. This effect, pretty cool. This one's kind of, they're using fire, but they're doing slow motion. So they're slowing the film footage down. So you basically slow the millimeter that it's playing on in order to be able to. Then they speed it up again. This is where it kind of breaks a little bit of the continuity. I don't understand why they did that. That's the puppet running in the background there through the model set. Really cool, really cool. I still love some of the effects that they do in this film. They don't do that, obviously. Now they have better effects they can do. Man in suit just stomping. And you have to give it up for the suit actor, too, because he found a way to kind of make it seem like he's this reptile, giant kaiju stomping around ominously. And then when you have the Godzilla scores playing in the background like that, it just adds to the ominous presence that this is truly like a force of nature trying to dominate everything, trying to destroy everything in its wake. And then you switch to the puppet effect. That was a quick little bit of claymation there. So then, look, you go back to the man in suit, stomping around. The man in suit gives, like that. The only thing I really don't like is sometimes, like, when they have the scenes where he's moving around slowly like this, where they slow down the film footage, it just kind of, it breaks a little bit of the immersion, but I know what they were doing. They were trying to do something different that hadn't been done in film before. Okay, so now they speed it up. Look at that fire effect. Just the way they were able to get the camera angles to be able to truly give the sense that Godzilla's this 164 plus centimeter figure just stomping around town. Low camera angles like that really enhance shots to make something feel incredibly large. You see it done a lot in horror films, like in some of the earlier Friday the 13th films, when Jason's like hovering over people, they'll use a very low camera angle to give the sense of that Jason Voorhees is really tall. Where did they borrow some of that inspiration from? Kaiju films, particularly Godzilla 54. So, like, some of the camera effects that you see here, they get it really inspired. Used a wide shot here, too, because he wanted to seem like he's really walking through a big city. You know, there's certain things you do subtly with the camera as filmmakers just to kind of get the effect that you truly want off on a film. Godzilla stomping around again, Wolfies. Cool. Like, nothing can... This is a force of nature, truly. And they're able to capture this in film perfectly. Just between the mix of the special effects, the camera lighting, camera angles, the music in the background. Everything just works perfectly to make this a true classic. That's the puppet here. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the movie. Because they were able to mix the puppet effect here to make it look like the puppet is really right in front of them. And what the puppet does next, too. Because you can't have the man in suit really bite the tower, right? So you gotta use the puppet effect. Look at that. Just truly chomping away at it. And then those people, 07. As you see, that the news reporter finally met his demise, the one that had been in the film throughout the vast majority of it. 07's reporter, we barely knew. That's us turned Central Tokyo into sea flames. Look at Dr. Serizawa, he's looking on. Remember at the beginning of the film, well, not the beginning, midway point of the film, where the reporter was questioning Dr. Serizawa that he allegedly was working on something that could destroy Godzilla? Do you think that's coming full circle now? He's looking at this wake of terror that has befallen the city of Tokyo. This is cool. This has actually been restored here, this part, a bit from the DVD as well as the film version. Like, this really was cleaned up nicely for this particular version. So, look at that. Dr. Yamane is horrified right now. I think he's realizing why Godzilla can't be studied. And Godzilla just flips that over. Again, man in suit, on a set, destroying models that are scaled down to make it look like he's large and in charge. Great effect, though. And the water coming in like that. Toho, back then, like for this film, Toho really went all out. And this film was considered risky at this time period because they didn't know if the movie studio was going to get the money back that they invested. This was a very expensive film to make back then. So Like, they took a risk and then it became a box office success over there. So much so that then American audiences, film studio, decided to, transfer, make it over here. Because King Kong was successful for us. Should probably at some point watch the original King Kong 33. But I don't know, like, some of the themes of King Kong, like, if I talk about the symbolism involved in it, it's sensitive material, because I just tell you honestly, King Kong is kind of a metaphor for slavery. A lot of people won't think that, but it really is. As opposed to Godzilla, who in this time period is a metaphor for the nuclear bomb and anti-nuclear proliferation in Japan. So, but King Kong, oh, the hidden metaphors in it, oh man. Like, when I was in school for college, this is something you're going to learn about me, category general. I actually have a degree in film and television. So we studied film. One of the things we studied, symbolism in film, themes in film. We studied King Kong. And when I learned some of the things that are subtly in King Kong, makes a look at King Kong way differently. King Kong's still a great film, don't get me wrong. But some of the symbolisms that they were trying to instill on people, oh boy. Like, there's some seriously sensitive material in that. Like, Godzilla, they were able to repel here. Like, another thing, Dumbo. There's a reason why Dumbo is now not shown on Disney Plus. Which, by the way, I have Disney Plus now, because it comes with my cable subscription, ironically. I have the one with ads, apparently. So I can watch, like, Disney films, and we can watch Disney films and react to them, too, if you have Disney Plus. But I don't have ad-free version of it. How can we kill it? Yeah, they don't know. Like, their city just got completely laid to waste. Like, what do you do against this thing? This shot here is direct symbolism and metaphor for the nuclear bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This is what that's a direct reference to. Look at that devastation, guys. Sorry, I had to send the email. Look at the amount. Look at the amount of devastation. Look at those people. Those kids have radiation now. They're putting the Geiger counts on it. This is, again, metaphor for Nagasaki and Hiroshima, because people affected by that were affected with radiation poisoning. The ones that did survive the nuclear fallout. Like, this is... I tell you, history is a brutal thing. It's not sunshine and unicorns like some people tell you. It's a very, very brutal past. But I want to show this film because it's like, this is important to Japanese culture and why they're so against certain things and war and stuff. And this movie really kind of put a lot of that to the forefront. Like, it's one of my favorite movies just because it shows you so many different things. Plus, it's just a really well-made movie. Look at her. She just... Remember the mother that said, "That's okay, children, we'll be with our father soon"? The mom died. The kid stayed alive. She's crying because she just lost her mother. That scene, that's gut-wrenching. And you might not pick it up unless you realize the kid's face. Like, the mom died. She's just trying to tell her the mom will be back, but it's over. Look at the terror. Look at the things. Emiko's heartbroken right now. She's going to tell the secret, isn't she, Wolfies? Oh, man, Wolfies. What's going to happen here? Look at this. She's gone all the way up to tell him something. What is she going to tell him? Remember not be sneaking a kiss here. She can't keep quiet anymore. Her guilt from keeping the secret. She has to break the promise because guilt in her conscience. So much good storytelling in this film, Wolfies. Like, they don't make movies like this anymore. With this much storytelling and just layers. Kept the secret even from the person she loved. Emiko comes back in a later Godzilla film. Godzilla vs. Destroyer, by the way. The day that the reporter... They don't even know that the reporter died, guys. Like, he died in the tower reporting the story. Look at her. Okay, we're getting a flashback sequence. This movie has everything, even the flashback sequence. Get back. Remember when he grabs her? Yep. This is flashback time. Remember when she was like, what was going on? And she was terrified. We're going to know what it is now, Wolfies. This is good storytelling. Storytelling at its finest. What's happening to those fish? Look at those fish now. Ooh, that's a sight. Look at that, Wolfies. Look at that. So that's what happened. The fish got turned and disintegrated. That's what made her grief-stricken. Why would you make something like that, right? Did you? Yes, you killed a bunch of fish. Way to discover. You destroyed all the oxygen in the water, and they became suffocated. And then their remains were liquefied. That's crazy that he had the power of a weapon. Splits oxygen atoms into fluid. This was the metaphor for he found a weapon more destructive than atomic bomb, which was their cry for not to use nuclear weapons. Symbolism in this film. Research oxygen thoroughly from every angle. Why do you want oxygen? So in doing so, he discovered this unexpectedly. Yeah. So he should have stopped his studies then. After his first experiment, he was horrified. Why would you continue? Yeah. So it was something that might be even stronger than a nuclear bomb. Could eat for days. Well, I would probably not either after something of that type of discovery. So that thing, that tiny thing, just a small ball of the substance, what does it do? Could turn all of Tokyo Bay into what? Aquatic graveyard. He could use that weapon to stop Godzilla if he wanted to. Why develop such a thing? Researchers for interest of science. Yeah, that's why he kept it a secret. He didn't want it to fall into the wrong hands. Yeah, if it was used as a weapon, it'd be really bad. Human extinction, just like the H-bomb. Again, remember, this was Japan's attempt of anti-nuclear proliferation, anti-nuclear weapons. So you find a lot of symbolism to it in here. Yeah, he doesn't. There's no way that the oxygen destroyer would have benefited society from his POV. That's why he kept the thing secret from the reporters. Sorry. I mean, it's commendable, right? You don't want this to fall into the wrong hands, because if it does, it'll wipe out the human race. But at the same point, you created it. He's willing to kill himself for this work, never to fall into the wrong hands. So she doesn't say a word. Now she's going to tell. Because Godzilla's such a threat that nothing can stop it, right, Wolfies? Nothing can handle it. Yeah, nothing can. She broke the promise, but she had to, I understand. I mean, you don't really want to break the promise to somebody, but when you have truly no choice, Wolfies, you do what you have to, right? The biggest threat in the world right now is Godzilla. Yeah, to save a disaster. We're getting close to the climax of this film, Wolfies. And it's quite one, if you've never seen it. It's very, very, very impressive, Wolfies. Let's go. This is where they're going to confront Dr. Serizawa. She got all dolled up, too. She knew what she was doing, right, Wolfies? You're here, too. Uh-oh. You guys a favor. He already knows. Uh-oh. What's going to happen? You think they're going to be able to get along? This is like the boyfriend of the woman you're supposed to marry. Huh. Uh-oh. He's going to try to play cool like it doesn't exist. He's afraid. He looked at her and he already knew that she told him. Broke the promise. That's not going to be good. He's going to be angry. Pretense, see. Now she broke. She wanted to know that she broke it. She's in grief. Please let him use it. He's going to be angry, right? Again, I don't blame Serizawa, because you don't want this technology to fall into the wrong hands, somebody to get it, to reproduce it, and then our countries, our places make it a weapon. Yeah. I mean, Godzilla was a true destruction, right? He doesn't even really want to use it too, but it's like their last hope, right? It really is their only hope. Yeah, he's mad at Emiko, you can tell. Yeah, he refuses, but you need help. Yeah, he's trying to get him to, like, Godzilla's a big threat. It'll wipe out everybody, right? What's he gonna do? Is he gonna lock himself in? Yeah, he locked himself in. Is he gonna take his life? That would be bad, right? What are they gonna? Is he gonna bust the door down? He didn't really bust that door down too hard. Uh-oh. A tussle here. See, he can't let him destroy it, but at the same time, it's poor dude. I understand why he wants to destroy the work. Uh-oh. Oh, no. What happened? Did they hit Emiko? That would be really bad. Who got hit? Somebody got hit there. There was a scream. Uh-oh. Ogata took it. I've been calling him Okada the whole movie. I'm so sorry. I guess I was thinking of wrestling there for a little. Ogata. It's almost similar, right? Almost similar wolfies. Okay. What's gonna happen? He's bleeding, man. Wow, Dr. Serizawa could square up, but remember, they did say he was in the war. So he did fight in the war. World War II's the war they're referring to here, wolfies. Forgive him. He doesn't. If it could be put to good use, he would have used it first. Yeah. But right now, I mean, it is a weapon of mass destruction. He's trying to convince him, but I mean, Godzilla is a bigger threat than even that, right? Poor Ogata. He understands. He's giving him the glare, though. Look, he stays tied up. Yeah, if we don't stop Godzilla, what happens? Even once, what happens? Yeah, I mean, I understand the political ramifications. They'll try to turn the weapon. Yeah, I mean, I could kind of understand that. This scene was completely cut from the English version of A-bombs versus A-bomb, H-bombs versus H-bombs, and then eventually oxygen destroyers against oxygen destroyers. They completely wanted to talk against nuclear weapons ever being used again in this film. That's the symbol emperor. They cut it from the American version, obviously, because, you know, America did drop 2 nuclear weapons on Japan. It's kind of crazy how they would have just kind of tried to erase that from history in the movie, the American version, but it is something. That's why I'm kind of glad that now the Japanese uncut versions are available. I would love to have seen like an English version recut, but Raymond Bird is no longer with us, to my knowledge, where they actually went back and re-edited the film to be more appropriate to the themes that were featured in it for English stuff. Even Burner notes. Everything's still in head. So he's worried that they would force the secret out of him. Yeah, I guess they would try to torture him to get out of that, right? He's in a dilemma, right? Yeah. I mean, if he never invented it, then there would be no hope against Godzilla, right? I mean, he's in a rock and his hard place, right? Because remember his promise. What did he say? He would rather die than let it fall into the wrong hands. Oh, look at that. There's some kids praying. This music's so eerie when it plays, because it's just like really, really eerie. The children crying out for hope. Look at how much damage. This is just, again, good cinematography, because you show this, the metaphors, the symbolism behind World War II, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and then on top of that, as he's seeing these images and the music's play, his lapse in his conscience, his guilt as to what he should do, whether he should use the oxygen destroyer, let them use it, whether he shouldn't, let all this stuff that's fallen before him, all the carnage to continue to happen, this dilemma, the music, the camera angles, the scene choices that they did, the shots that they're picking, all this stuff, amazing cinematography. This is when you hit it on all notes. Like, Ishiro Honda was a great director in Japan. Like, if you're not familiar with his work, he did so many good films. Like, I can't even begin to list off all the great films that he did, because he did stuff other than Godzilla too, by the way. It's just Godzilla's one of his most famous films that he's known for. Look at that. And they're just, the song too, like when you see the subtitles for it, that call for peace. Look at that, Wolfies. Okay, sorry, I had to send an email while we're watching. Okay, good. Look at that, look at that. Look at that shot there, too. And the fact that they're singing so somber, like if they're truly hopeless and that there's a sense of dread, like, look at, you can look as far back as like the 8th and 9th row of there, and the people look so somber. You don't get that in films. But then again, remember, they're coming off of World War II, those films a couple years after that. Some of those emotions still linger with people, so was that really even acting, or is just the sentiment still there? You never know. You don't even know what the director could have possibly said for people in that scene with all those people singing. You know, it's truly amazing some of the stuff that they were able to convey in terms of feelings and sentiments. What's Serizawa doing? He's gonna help, though. He came to his conscience. He's crying now. First and last time it's ever used, but how are you going to ensure that? Yeah. He's going to burn the notes, though. Right? Because he said he can't let it fall into the wrong hands. Wow. Yeah, he did it. Emiko's torn, too, because you know that the dude's scientific work, like, that's all he's studied and everything. So burn it, you know what, to help people. You know, he's really doing it for Emiko, not so much everybody. Well, he is doing it also for the people because he is feeling guilty now. But, like, that's rough. That's years and years of your life's work at this point. A great discovery that you're burning because you know that it's just going to fall in the wrong hands. Like, she's gutted by it, too. And remember, like, they were engaged to be married. Yeah. It is the only way. I think she even knows that he might do something a little bit more drastic too. Look at that. Birdie. I mean, he had no choice, right, though? Okay. We're getting to the final climax between Godzilla and the humans. Who will reign supreme here, Wolfies? Who do you think's gonna win? Do you think the humans will finally prevail? They're using Geiger counters to exactly pinpoint Godzilla. That's actually kind of smart. They found them. I think it's safe to say at this point. It's like a swig of water. So if you heard that, you got some nice water somewhere there for a second. Who wants to go with them? I mean, it's a fair thing. If you're going to use my invention, you should be able to go with him, right? Just trying to convince him not to? No, he has to. He has to make sure it's right, right? Yeah. Yeah. And he knows how to use it too, right? So, gotta let him do it, right? Yeah, see? Well, God knows what's up. He's gotta let him do it. He wants to go alone. No. Can't allow him to be alone. But God has got to go with him too. Yep, so they're both going to go with the diving suit. He wants him to follow Gado's instructions. Dr. Yamane is like really torn too. They're all somber. I mean, if this doesn't work, nothing will stop Godzilla, right? You notice again, remember the reporter that we knew from the beginning of the film died in the tower. That's why he's not in the scene. A lot of people don't realize that because, you know, the movie goes so quickly. Plus, the American edit does things to kind of imply that everybody that fell in the news tower survived, which is obviously not the case in the Japanese version of the film. That is the oxygen destroyer. Fun fact, Dr. Serizawa in the scuba suit that you see here is actually a secret unlockable character in Godzilla Generations for the Sega Dreamcast. It is the weirdest thing ever that he would be the secret character, but he is. I haven't played Godzilla Generations in a while, but I do not think we'll be able to play it on the channel. Certain reasons why I don't like the way I would have to play it is not really a way that I, as a VTuber, the current VTuber state that I am, can really do it, you know? We do things very professional and business-like here, very similar to how an agency VTuber does it. I'm counting on you. Yep. Will they be successful? Yeah, back then, remember, no televisions really, so everything's being transmitted via radio. So radio was the popular form of communications. I wasn't around for radio, again. I grew up in that time period. Alright, they're down. The special effects here, I think, are some of the best ones in the movie, outside of, obviously, Godzilla stomping from Tokyo. Just because they did a really good job between the human dynamic and still making Godzilla feel like he's enormous. Like, and it's hard to do underwater film scenes back in the 50s. Like, because you gotta have the camera down there, the water. Things are more buoyant. Lighting is not easy underwater when you're filming films, because back then there weren't lights that could go underwater. So you're relying on just natural lighting. So you have to shoot like very, very early in the morning or very close to morning hours. Because if you do afternoon or evening, it's completely dark there. Nobody can see anything underwater, too. Like, back then, shots like this, that's hard. You get, like, maybe 1 or 2 takes. Because if not, you have to wait for the next day to do these shots again. So it's very dependent on the weather and everything. Okay. This one is a little bit not in water, this shot. This is just three different things being merged. This underwater thing, that's a real scene now. They're splicing film together, yeah. That scene, definitely those two close-ups there on studio there. In case you're wondering. Those two obviously wouldn't be the people underwater. You have stunt doubles for that. Those are stunt doubles there. That. I'm getting ready to place the thing. The oxygen destroyer. The one thing, too, is like in the Japanese version, the scene's a little bit more drawn out. As opposed to the American version. They kind of cut a couple seconds off of everything here. They cut a lot in the American version, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Look at that. They found Godzilla. Now the question is, you gotta set this device up before Godzilla gets wind of it, because if Godzilla wakes up and starts stomping, it's a GG for everybody. Well, guess who woke up? He noticed, though. There's not gonna be too much time for them to activate this device. They better hurry up. If not, they're gonna be with Godzilla as well. Meet Godzilla's fate, perhaps. No, they got flashlights, so that at least they came a little bit prepared. They don't have them actually on, though. Even they're in black and white, you can't really see. Look at Godzilla. Godzilla's just stomping around. The fact that they could kind of replicate Godzilla being underwater like that, and the suit actor just being able to move around like if he's actually underwater, which he wasn't for the scene, is kind of cool. Really good cinematography again. What's going to happen here, Wolfies? Look at that. Yeah. That's the guy on set doing his best imitation that he's actually flying in water. Those guys are actually underwater, though. They're about to go up. He tapped them. Serizawa's like, you go up first, I'm going to get the bomb. The destroyer out. Serizawa, that's Serizawa, not Serizawa, Ogata's point of view going up. Why hasn't he dropped the bomb yet? Go ahead, hurry up. Oh, you know what's going to happen. Serizawa stayed behind. Did you forget, Wolfies? Dr. Serizawa made a promise that this would be the only time the oxygen destroyer was used. On top of that, he said that if it were to be used, he was afraid that it'd go into the wrong hands and he would die before he would let it fall into the people's hands. So, good old Dr. Serizawa is going to make the ultimate sacrifice to save everybody. He's going to sacrifice himself. That's such a cool effect. I actually don't know how they were able to do that one. I never understood how the oxygen destroyer worked underwater. Maybe they used kind of like one of the things you would use in a fish tank for it. Look at that. Oh, the oxygen destroyer is taking effect. Godzilla clearly is affected by this thing. Well, I mean, Godzilla wouldn't be able to breathe underwater, right? Oh, look at that, Wolfies. Looks like the beast has finally been tamed. It's finally meeting its match. Godzilla rolling around in pain. Suit guy did such a good job, too. I forget who played Godzilla in the suit. Feel free in the comments to be like, well, actually it was, I don't mind. I don't profess to know everything. Look at that. The actor did such a good job, too, of kind of... There's also puppetry there, too. Keep that in mind. It's working. Look at that. Dr. Serizawa said be happy, too. He knew they were in a relationship. Cut the line. Remember, because when he cuts the line, he's going to be affected by the oxygen destroyer as well. So right now, he's not affected by it because he's still getting oxygen supply from the oxygen tank. It's too late. He cut the line. Look at that. Well, I think it's safe to say Dr. Serizawa probably got dissolved already in the water. Look at that. Rough, but he had no choice. It was either sacrifice himself or let that weapon potentially fall into the wrong hands. He couldn't have that happen. Yeah. Look at that. Things are melting there. I think it's safe to say that that shot before was Serizawa dissolving away. But will this stop Godzilla? That's the case. Look at Godzilla. He was able to get out of the water a little bit to roar. Is he unaffected by it? Is the terror still going to continue, Wolfies? Nope. Look at that. He just fell over. I guess he took his final last breath. Yeah. He's suffocating. Well, Godzilla has finally met his match. This was such a cool effect that they did, where they had the puppet figurine falling in the water slowly with all the bubbles, and then when we eventually get to this part, you switch back to the man in suit, and then you're able to splice it, where you do the dissolve effect, where you just have the skeleton there. Basic editing effects by today's standards, but by yesterday's standards, the olden time, that was great special effects right there, Wolfies. Great special effects. And Godzilla has been defeated. Such a good film. I still always enjoy watching this film. I could watch this film forever. I don't know how many times I've seen this film. Probably maybe... I would say I've seen this at least 1,000 times to 2,000 times, this film. Every time it's on television, I watch it. Every time it's like Godzilla Day, I find a way to watch it, whether on television or on DVD. You know, it's a movie that's stuck with me throughout my childhood, even as adulthood. It's one of the films that got me interested in cinematography as well. When I was old enough to really understand symbolisms, good camera angles, lighting and stuff. Like, that's why I do these movie nights too, because I like to be able to show some of my film degree background away and analyze things. You would never guess I have it, I suppose. Look at this. This last line was completely cut from the movie in a way. Like, they didn't talk about nuclear testing in the original one. They were just like, what happens if one day there'll be another Godzilla? And here is like, we consider using nuclear weapons and another Godzilla may appear. It was Japan's outcry, don't use nuclear weapons, anti-nuclear proliferation. I think for the most part, this message hits home for a lot of people. I mean, we've done a good job as society trying to prevent the use of nuclear weapons, but we could do much better. You know, there's a lot more work needs to be done in the human race to completely abolish it. And this is one of these movies where it mentions that. All right, that is going to be it, Wolfies. Godzilla. Yeah, and there are no end credits to this version of the film because it's the original Japanese version. All right, Wolfies. The next movie up on HBO Max is Godzilla Raids Again, which is one of my least favorite Godzilla movies, Wolfies. So we will not be watching Godzilla Raids Again. But, like I said, this is one of my favorite movies growing up as a kid. Still one of my favorite movies as an adult. It really gets me hyped and pumped. Did you enjoy the movie, Wolfies? It's a really fun one. You know, available on HBO Max. I'm so happy it was on HBO Max because it's another film I wanted to do, but I wanted a way for you guys to be able to watch it with general ease. With that being said, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, Wolfies, we have our Mario Kart 8 Deluxe stream. It is by far one of the most ambitious streams and projects that we've had on the channel, my little Wolfies. I had a lot of fun with it too, so I hope you'll join me 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow here at the Moonlight Brew at the movie theater. I don't know what movie we're watching next week yet. I don't know if we're going to watch more Godzilla movies and do a lead up into Godzilla X Kong, or if we'll watch something completely different. Maybe we'll watch an anime movie, because we have options to watch anime movies as well, Wolfies. But yeah, tomorrow, America 8 Deluxe, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a fantastic time watching it. Thank you to everybody that watched, chatted, lurked. Thanks to everybody that watched on VOD. I love my VOD watchers, VOD watchers. You are just as important to this channel as the live viewers do. Anyway, Wolfies, as the saying goes, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. See you tomorrow, Wolfies.